Pick up my bags, I be free at last. Don't wanna hear another word from my bum ass past. I graduate to know what's fate and what's a fantasy line. I done walked the wrong path maybe a couple of times. Stepping through, I hope to see windows and green leaves. Freedom of speech, sunshine, rhythm up under my feet. Is it a dream? I check the clock for times like this. People around you can't understand what it means to exist. So make a dollar, be a god, crown yourself, be a martyr, dream big, be a father, word up. I see my time around the world before I'm giving it up. I see myself living for me instead of living for
and we live.
Two worlds niggas can never.
We appreciate everybody for rocking with us. Y'all know what it is. When y'all come in the building, y'all know what it is, man. Go ahead and show that love.
Make a dollar, be a god, crown yourself, be a martyr, dream big, be a father, word up, and get your weight up, press, hit the gym so it's enough to hold your head up, rest enough to see yourself inside a dream. Make a dollar, be a god, crown yourself, be a martyr, dream big, be a father, word up, and get your weight up, press, hit the gym so it's enough to hold your head up, rest enough to see yourself inside a dream.
We appreciate everybody for rocking with us. 6 p.m. bedtime stories. You know what it is. Got a few topics that we definitely want to get into. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the likes. We appreciate the comments. Views going up. We get almost at 500,000, man, on Facebook. Let's get it. That's just Facebook.
Keep your head up. Gotta chase your dreams out the paper. Over time, things change. So much bloodshed, it's a shame. Don't know what the future holds. Humble, I'll remain. Don't replace fear where trust should be. Right here, shouldn't know what your left think. Don't compare the size, focus on your team. Can't be myself, won't be anything. Grant me peace, I've been patient. Trying to find solutions without foundation. One life, bet not waste it. Gotta adjust with the times, be adjacent. What's fair, not equal. In life, notice you get no sequel. Sometimes my soul feel conflicted, but I keep my head up, prevent from getting wet up. And times things get better, till then Glock and sweater. I wake up.
Make a dollar, be a god, crown yourself, be a martyr, dream big, be a father, word up, and get your weight up, press, hit the gym so it's enough to hold your head up, rest enough to see yourself inside a dream. Make a dollar, be a god, crown yourself, be a martyr, dream big, be a father, word up, and get your weight up, press, hit the gym so it's enough to hold your head up, rest enough to see yourself inside a dream.
All right. As always, we appreciate y'all for rocking with us, man. So here's the deal. I want to get right into it. Don't want to waste no time. For those of you who have been rocking with us thus far, we appreciate it. In regards to anybody who has been truly supporting us, whether that's views, likes, comments, shares, subscribing to our YouTube, and also following our Facebook, we truly appreciate it. You know, definitely. And
you know, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything.
You know, before I started this, I wanted to make sure that we had some sense of pride when we did our podcast and for bedtime stories, and also Beyond the Book for sure. Beyond the Book took off regarding just a whole nother level as far as atmosphere and energy. But I knew bedtime stories was going to have to actually be something that was, you know, for the people, by the people, and also giving us a chance to see not only myself, but the people that I bring in their most authentic light. So we're going to keep that going. One thing that I found was interesting today, as we look here, it says here, AI bot flips Wall Street on its head, turns 1,000 into 50,000 in record 30 days. Now, I found this to be interesting because a lot of us, and this is August 4th, this is reported by FinZen Invest Smartly, a stock website. Driven by its very 331% weekly gain, investors are rapidly downloading the AI trading bot eager to tap into AI's potential. I believe that you have to pay for this. So this is interesting for me because we see AI being branched out in so many different sectors. And when it comes to stocks and developing your portfolio, and when people say developing your portfolio, they like to bring out the notion of diversifying your portfolio, which is fine, which is great. There are some things that we've talked about on this podcast before, just getting into the thick of things when it comes to financial, not necessarily advice. I want to give that disclaimer, but conversation. So I want to read this here. It says, in an unprecedented display of artificial intelligence in action, a new AI trading bot reportedly generated a return of $14,158 from $3,200 of an investment over the course of a week, according to verified trading records and third-party verification. The story doesn't end with the initial success. Starting from February 2025, with a $2,000 investment, the bot once again stunned traders. By August 2025, it earned a profit of $11,200, an astonishing 560% gain over the course of a 5-month period. This performance has drawn attention from traders worldwide, prompting interest and curiosity. Wow. They will put a stop to this. Mark my words. If it gets to a point where a lot of people are trusting AI to make those investments and build out actual returns from stocks, bonds, from investing in ETFs, whatever the play is. Me, I'm more of a blue chip stock guy myself. But when it comes to the performance and the convenience, the cutting edge AI technology, this is outstanding. I don't think that people are in fear of things like this being things like this working against them. I hope that people can make all the money that they need. And let's see if the government or anybody else puts a stop to people making money, which one way or another they always do, especially to the little guy. You guys remember when Amazon, what was that? That wasn't Amazon. Do you guys remember? Do you remember when GameStop was caught? The investors that caught GameStop, and they were betting on the hedge. They were betting on it to actually go down. So when you invest and you have puts and you invest and you anticipate the stock going down, they were looking to make money off of that. The people just kept buying GameStop. This is on Robinhood. Robinhood made it so you could not buy GameStop anymore. You could only sell. So the system has a way of pretty much saying, hey, the little guy, the investor that has developed a hobby and is not really serious or don't got enough money in the bank account to speak the language, they will stop you by any means necessary. So we'll see how this goes. I just wanted to mention this because I thought it was pretty interesting. The bot's influence has been spreading rapidly with 10,000 downloads to date. It's said to be generating millions in daily profits for its users. This is a huge deal. Yet, despite its growing popularity, its future is shrouded in uncertainty. Yeah, I mean, they're going to cut the legs off the app. That's what's going to happen. The verified success of the AI trading bot demonstrates AI's growing influence in revolutionizing investment strategies. Sure. After the advancements made by AI like ChatGPT, this development seems like the logical next step. Its performance compatibility is as staggering as the ease with which it can be used. I agree. If you're not using AI to make your workflow that much more better, you behind. ChatGPT and a lot of the other AI bots have been doing phenomenal things. Here is the thing that I will say about AI as a whole. I don't believe that you should be using AI to construct any sort of higher level thinking opportunities, such as doing research for a dissertation. That's just one. Artificial intelligence, and also a lot of the bots that are within AI, a lot of the AI bots, artificially generated, however you're putting it, it pulls information. So when they tell you, they prompt, hey, you should cross check, it means it. There have been more than 2 or 3 occasions where AI has gotten something wrong. I was trying to start a grill, Weber grill, and it notified me to actually turn on the burners the opposite way in which they were supposed to be turned on. It did a few other things, right? It helped me look to turn on the propane, had me brush the grill, turn on each level. Each eye. My dad used to call the top of the stove eyes, but the burners. Did that right. But in order for me to actually figure out how to make sure that the grill was on its knobs, it told me to turn it the opposite direction. So you want to have some sort of common sense and intelligence when you're working with artificial intelligence, especially for the more higher level research-based revolutionary aspects when it of your personal works. It doesn't necessarily have to be a dissertation. You could be writing another book. You can be doing things for students. Just be mindful of how you use it and cross-check your evidence. So, moving on to the next topic here. Moving on to the next topic at hand. One of the things that I wanna point out, we just gonna touch it a little bit. We're not gonna stay there for a while. Is it says here that Diddy was denied bail. Diddy was denied bail, and honestly, this is no surprise. This is no surprise. It says here, judge denies request for bail, Sean Diddy Combs. Let me see if I can actually play this. Hang on, give me a second. Man, he hurting, man. Bro, they just not gonna let you out like that, man. They ain't gonna let you out like that.
We're following breaking news and another setback for Sean Diddy Combs as his fight to get out from behind bars. A short time ago, a judge denied another request for bail. Last month, jurors convicted Combs on 2 counts of transportation for prostitution. He's scheduled to be sentenced on October 3rd. We're following breaking news.
Yeah. A federal judge in New York declined on Monday to grant Sean Diddy Combs bail, finding no exceptional reasons to release him prior to his October sentencing. Combs was convicted of transportation and engaged in prostitution, which the judge said mandates incarceration. His sentencing is set for October 3rd. So he will not be getting out no time soon. It'll be cold before he get out. He's in New York for sure. Yeah, it's definitely going to be cold. Okay. One of the more interesting and honestly amusing stories for me was when it says that his accuser wants him out. So Sean Diddy Combs' ex, who dropped out of his case, so she was in the case testifying against Diddy, writes letters to judge pushing for his release. This is, a lot of different things I've seen in this world. I don't understand. There should be a statute of limitations. What about the reasonable person standard? There's a standard. This is a fact. There's a reasonable person standard that the law goes by, that you should be acting accordingly when it comes to, the judge delegating time. They compare you to this standard. There should be something in here when it comes to, if I testify against you or if I'm testifying for you, I shouldn't be able to testify against you. It should work both ways. How is the person that was in the Diddy case now writing a letter to the judge talking about his release? We should go slap the cuffs on whoever this is, whoever this woman, man or woman, Diddy. This is man or woman, but this is crazy. Let's check this out.
This morning, a victim of Sean Diddy Combs is asking a judge to release the music mogul from prison. Virginia Hewen sent a letter to the judge saying she believes Combs has been nonviolent for many years. She also believes doing so will help his children.
He's supposed to be a key witness, but was not called to testify. Combs remains behind bars as he awaits sentencing on October 3rd.
They trying any and everything to get Diddy up out of here, man. They ready for Diddy to hit the streets. An ex-girlfriend of Sean Diddy Combs was supposed to testify against him in his criminal case, but mysteriously dropped out days before the trial began, has written a letter to the judge pushing for Combs' release on bail. Man, this dude, Diddy, man, is like a supervillain. Virginia Hume, who goes by Gina, was part of the prosecution's case against Combs, initially anonymously referred to as Victim 3. But before the trial began, prosecutors alerted the court while Victim 3 was under subpoena to testify. They had lost touch with her and her attorney, and she may not show up. Now, in their latest attempts to get Combs released on bail ahead of his sentencing, Combs' defense was included a letter from Victim 3, who was the first time was identified herself by name. In the letter, Huey, that's how she pronounced it, wrote to the judge, she does not believe Combs is a danger to the community and he is a committed family man who has not been violent in many years. That Cassie, throw to the ground. I can't really rock with you. I can't fully support that. You know, if they got that on camera, who knows what he was doing behind closed doors. The letter was included as an exhibit in the defense's latest filing. Their replies to the prosecution's opposition to releasing Combs on bail ahead of his sentencing, which is set for October 3rd. During the trial, Combs' former assistant, George Capelin, testified he once saw Combs throwing apples. He once saw Diddler, Diddy, P. Diddy, Puffy, Brother Love throwing apples at this lady at his home in Miami. Cassie Ventura, the case's star witness and another former girlfriend of Combs, testified Combs was unfaithful to her by dating Gina throughout their 11-year relationship. Man, y'all need to wrap this case up, man. Last week, they also filed a motion asking the judge to completely acquit him or give him a new trial, arguing he was unfairly prosecuted based on the Mann Act, calling his conviction unconstitutional. This conviction stands alone, but it should not stand at all. Combs' attorney, Alexandro Shapiro, wrote in a 62-page memorandum. Other witnesses in the case, including Ventura, previously wrote letters to the judge pleading for him to remain incarcerated. She don't want this nigga out, man. Telling the court they would fear for their safety if he were released from jail ahead of his sentencing. Man. Cassie trying to make you stay in there. Make sure you stay in there. Combs was physically violent on numerous occasions with Ventura, and photographic and video evidence of her being assaulted was shown in the jury throughout the trial, including 2016 hotel surveillance footage of Combs beating Ventura, beating the brakes off her, which was first released by CNN. In his decision to deny Combs bail immediately after the verdict, the judge cited Combs' admitted pattern of violence in his relationship. Listen, what are y'all locking him up for? If y'all gonna lock the man up for prostitution and all this other stuff, you know, him just being a very a very freaky individual, a freak lord. I'm not sure if you could lock him up for that, for being a freak lord. Now, when it comes to, you know, I guess abuse, sexual battery, things like that, do y'all got him on the line for that? It don't seem like y'all do. It seem like y'all got him for prostitution, and you guys are trying to get him for, what was it? When you fly somebody in, they say that's sex trafficking. Y'all was trying to hit him over the head for that. So the diddler may be on the streets. You know, this man seems like he's just undefeated right now, man. But Cassie does not want him to get out. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't know. I'm not that invested in this guy, man. Okay. So let's get to, in other news, we got the Shade Room. Donald Trump fires back at Charlamagne the God after he commented on the Epstein Files. Breakfast Club host claps back. Okay, so it says here, Donald Trump is clapping back at Charlamagne the God after he shared some serious thoughts about the Jeffrey Epstein files. Charlamagne recently suggested conservatives might use the Epstein saga to shake up the Republican Party. And judging by his response, Trump was not having it. It says here, the plot thickens. Donald Trump seemingly shares final thoughts on whether he'll pardon Diddy. Oh, man. Yo, America is like a big soap opera, man. It's like I'm watching. This is news. Donald Trump is on the Shade Room. This is why when you go to other countries, people just be laughing at America, man. What did Charlamagne the God say about Trump and the Epstein list? Charlamagne stepped into the lion's den when he appeared on Lord Trump's Fox News show, My View with Lord Trump, on Saturday, August 2nd. He didn't hold back, dropping some bold predictions about the Republican Party's future. Charlamagne suggested that the ongoing controversy around the Jeffrey Epstein files could be a game changer for traditional conservatives looking to reclaim the GOP from the MAGA movement. I think that traditional conservatives are going to take the Republican Party back, he told Laura, adding, I think this Epstein thing is going to be a way for traditional conservatives to take their party back. I really do. Y'all depending on the Epstein files to get your party back? Additionally, he even called the situation a political coup within the party, hinting that the Epstein files are keeping MAGA supporters fired up, but could open the door for a shift. The Breakfast Club host also shared his thoughts on what he thinks about Trump's return as president so far. Check this out. I wouldn't give him a good rating simply because the least of us are still being impacted the worst. Right now, people are hurting.
No, you've been critical. You've had your bones to pick with President Trump. If you took his name out of it and looked solely at what has happened, the policies and the things that have changed around the world and in our country over the first 6 months, how do you rate his presidency so far?
I wouldn't give it a good rating,
Why not?
Simply because, the least of us are still being impacted the worst. Like when you look at something like, the big, beautiful bill, that's something that, I'm going to benefit from because of the tax bracket that I'm in. But, there's going to be so many people that's hurt by that bill. And, anything that, takes away Medicaid from people and is going to put people in a worse financial situation than, they were previously in, I'm not for. And, he ran on that. Like, he ran on, the economy. He ran on saying that, grocery prices were going to be down. And,
That has happened.
No.
Inflation is trending down. And by the way, Medicaid, we want to make sure that people who are not actual recipients or shouldn't be getting Medicaid are off of Medicaid so it can actually benefit more people. There is good stuff in that bill, though. You have the 2017 tax cuts that are made permanent, and that really is for everybody. But that's for everyone. Everyone in this country is impacted by that. You also have things, by the way, like money going to school choice for parents all across this country. There is a lot of good that I think will come out of the big, beautiful bill. But what about things like...
Right now, people are hurting. And he campaigned on immediate change, day one change.
And you don't think you felt any change? People aren't feeling change.
No.
Do you...
Trump didn't waste much time before letting Charlamagne have it on Sunday, August 3rd. He reportedly took to Truth Social with a fiery response. He started by showing love to his daughter-in-law's show, calling Laura very wonderful and talented, and her program a big rating success. However, he then turned his attention to Charlamagne, labeling him a racist sleazebag and a low IQ individual. Trump didn't stop there. Wow, he's going in on Charlamagne, man. Trump didn't stop there, though, questioning why Charlamagne uses the God in his name, writing, why is he allowed to use the word of God when describing himself? Can anyone imagine the uproar there would be if I used that nickname? He went on to claim Charlamagne has no idea what words are coming out of his mouth and knows nothing about the Trump's accomplishments, like ending 5 wars and creating the greatest economy. Additionally, Trump even took a jab at Charlamagne's political leanings, saying, this dope, Charlamagne will vote for Sleepy Joe or Kamala. Charlamagne issues response to Trump's jab update. Charlamagne came with the quickness after Trump dragged him. Okay, You can't go from MLK. Hold on, let me read this. The 47-year-old took to Instagram on Sunday, August 3rd, clapping back, saying Trump's scraping the bottom of the black barrel by coming for him after targeting celebs like Oprah Winfrey, Beyonce, and Barack Obama. You can't go from MLK Jr., Obama, Oprah, Beyonce to a sleazebag named Leonard. He said, joking at Trump's should have aimed for Urkel instead, referring to the fictional character Steve Urkel from Family Matters. Additionally, Charlamagne doubled down on a political coup brewing in the Republican Party. He concluded his caption by giving a shout out to Laura for having him on the show, on her show. See his full response below. Okay. Apparent lack of transparency regarding the Epstein files. Listen, man. Listen. The Epstein files ain't doing nothing for black people. Not just black people, all people. The Epstein files is not going to contribute to the positive outlook that actually all people who are looking to experience, who are in the middle to low income brackets. The Epstein files ain't got shit to do with that, man. You need to be worrying about how are you going to move forward individually. And when it comes to tax cuts, poor people, I'm be honest with you. When poor people or middle class people are looking to get ahead in life, they don't know what the hell you're talking about when you're talking about tax cuts. How does a tax cut help me pay for things now? Now, when it comes to, you talk about tax cuts, we understand what that is. But what I'm saying is, on the surface level, when it comes to middle class poor people looking to pay for things at the moment, the here and now, the immediate, they understand one thing: how they're being paid for whatever they're doing, whether it's a job, whether it's some sort of grant program, how they are being paid, period. They care nothing about this other lingo about how you trying to help the middleman and help the low man by, cutting here, and you won't see this. We helping the economy here by, lowering bro. What's the point of gas prices being lower if I still don't have enough money coming in? Who cares if the gas price is $1 lower? Who cares if the interest rates on a house drop if I can't afford it anyway? I can't afford to put down $50,000 on a $500,000 house. That's worth something in the city. That's at least worth something. And we all know it gets crazy when it comes to the houses. The Epstein files, don't worry about them. I will say this about Trump and Charlamagne. Charlamagne, this is a battle that you won't win. If you actually trying to shed some light or give some attention to the American people, I would say get out here, walk around, figure out how you can help the common man. You going on Donald Trump's daughter's show. How is that going to help anybody? Now, Charlamagne has done a few things. Charlamagne started as a radio personality, grilling the black community, grilling people in general, going crazy. Then he also transitioned saying, you know what, I'm done with that. I'm on my mental health journey. I'm not, really talking about people no more. I'm staying away from all of the communities. And then he dived into politics. Charlamagne has made his money. He's doing quite well. So I'm not knocking Charlamagne at all. I just don't understand what's the benefit of the conversation that they're having. What's the benefit? If it's to benefit the common man, the hardworking man, the middle class, low class families, there is no benefit. All right. So let's get to this. Right now, what I would love to get to is this mass shooting that happened in Los Angeles. So For those of you who don't know about this, this came out today. It says a mass shooting at EDM Festival. After-Party leaves 2 dead and 6 injured. Okay? 2 dead and 6 injured. This is crazy. The incident took place at Los Angeles event that billed itself as an after-party for the Hard Summer EDM Fest, but had no official connection to it. Police investigating the shooting at the unofficial after-party for the Hard Summer Music Festival in downtown Los Angeles. Niggas can't even go have fun, man. 2 people are dead and 6 were injured in a mass shooting tied to what was billed as an after-party for an EDM music festival, which took place in downtown. Okay. This is unfortunate. I do kind of want to read Rolling Stone with the subscriptions, man. Let's see if I can find it here. 2 dead after party. LA. I just want to see if I can read some of it. I know New York Times gonna try to. Let's see. It says here, a shooting after a party downtown Los Angeles overnight left 2 people dead and several others injured. According to the Los Angeles Police Department, officers shut down a warehouse party hours before the shooting occurred. At least 6 people were hospitalized with gunshot wounds. The party near the area of 14th and Paloma Streets was shut down at around 11 p.m. By 1 a.m., officers received reports of shots fired from the same location. One of the victims is said to be a 29-year-old, the man's father told NBC4. He said his son has 3 young children and described him as a respectful gentleman. A witness who did not want to be identified said they saw a person on the ground and a woman also shot about a block down the street. The witness said it did not appear anyone was calling 911, so they made the call. When police initially shut down the party, a captain with the LAPD said they arrested someone for firearm possession. It was not clear if there was one shooter or more than one. The investigation is ongoing. Who is this? Mayor. This senseless violence and loss of life is devastating, and those who are responsible must be held accountable. There will be no tolerance for violence in the city. My thoughts are with the victims and their families. Yeah. 2 dead, 6 injured. This is crazy, man. Let's see if we can play. Let's see if we can.
In downtown LA, a party in downtown LA turned deadly. 2 people were killed in this shooting, and it happened just minutes after the LAPD broke up the party. NBC4's Lauren Coronado is at the scene, near the scene of that shooting at 14th and Paloma Streets. And Lauren, we understand that you just talked with the father of one of the people who was killed.
Adrian, I did. He tells me his son was 29 years old. He spoke with detectives, and he says detectives told him, yeah, his son is the one who died. He also tells me that his son has 3 young children. The family is still here right now. Really a devastating situation. In addition to that young man who died, we also understand that another person was also shot and killed down this way. We're right next to 14th and Paloma, by the way. You can see this is where detectives are centering their investigation. We know 6 others are in the hospital with gunshot wounds right now. And that man I spoke with who says his son died here tells me, like I mentioned, he has 3 young children, and they're waiting to tell the rest of the family about what has happened here.
Good gentleman, very respectful gentleman.
Yeah, he describes his son as a good man, like you heard, a respectful gentleman. He was supposed to come home for dinner last night, but never did. This is video captured shortly after the shooting, closer to 1 o'clock overnight. The LAPD says officers shut down this warehouse party hours prior. About 50 to 60 people were there. That's according to police. That was around 11 p.m. By 1 a.m., officers received a shots fired call from the same location. That's when they found the one person who died here. Another person rushed to the hospital where they died, and again 6 others also rushed to the hospital. Our team spoke with one person who saw what happened. They did not want to show their face on camera.
As I got there, there was a guy laying on the ground. And then so nobody seemed to be calling 911.
Man, I'm dodging all niggas, man. Now, these may have been white people. I'm saying sometimes, white people, they remind me of some of these niggas out here too. They all go in one bucket. So I'm a certified goofy dodger. I'm dodging all goofies. That's unfortunate. Prayers to the family. My condolences. I hope that everyone has for the people who were injured, a significant and quick recovery. LA has been going through a lot of things. California, you had the fires. They've been going through a lot of stuff. So why bring a gun to the function if you know that? Why do that? I don't understand that. Okay. All right, let's go here. It says that, next topic, statue of Confederate general toppled in 2020 to be reinstalled in D.C. The bronze statue depicting Confederate General Albert Pike, which was torn down and burned by protesters in 2020, is being restored by the Park Service, said Monday. My question is, why is something like this being restored? Why is this guy being restored? That's what we're going to find out.
We don't trust you, niggas. We don't.
I don't trust no motherfucking body.
We don't trust you.
This is crazy. So let's do it. Police extinguished the burning statue of Confederate General Albert Pike near Judiciary Square in Washington, D.C. in 2020. So this here, I'll keep reading. Okay. So this article was printed out today at 2:12 p.m. It says a statue of Confederate General that demonstrators, see the tricky language, demonstrators, toppled and burned in D.C. will be reinstalled. The bronze statue depicting Confederate General Pike is being restored, the Park Service said in a statement Monday. Officials shared a photo of a worker removing corrosion and paint. The restoration aligns with the federal responsibilities under the Historic Preservation Law, as well as recent executive orders to beautify the nation's capital and reinstate pre-existing statues, the agency said in a statement. They make that shit sound so magical, don't they? Like that shit is, man, profound fortitude. In June 2020, demonstrators used ropes to tear down a statue outside of Metropolitan Police Department headquarters. On live TV, they doused the statue in lighter fluid and set it ablaze. Mayor Muriel, at the time, decried property destruction and defended city police. Donald Trump, in his first term, called for the statue to go back up less than a week later. Now, here's where it gets tricky with Donald Trump. Here's where it gets tricky. Sometimes I'm with him, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I think he's for the greater good, and other times I just think he's for the greatness of his own good. It gets very tricky with Trump. So the things that we're going to highlight within the next 10 minutes are extremely crucial for all people, not just black, not just white people, not just Hispanic, not just Caribbean, all people, Native American, you name it, blue, pink, you name it. Now, crews are aiming to have the statue up in October, the Park Service said. Site preparation to repair the statue's damaged masonry plinth will begin shortly, with crews repairing broken stone, mortar joints, that's how you pronounce that, right? Mortar joints and mounting elements, the statement said. A statue of Albert Pike, okay, General Confederate Army. The Pike statue, dedicated in 1901, has been a source of controversy for the years. The Confederate general also was a longtime leader of the Freemasons who revere Pike. It was built at the request of the Masons, who successfully lobbied Congress to grant them land for the statue as long as Pike would be depicted in civilian, not military clothing. D.C. officials tried to remove the statue for years. The D.C. Council said it first called for its removal in 1992. Eleanor Holmes Norton introduced multiple bills in Congress to get it removed. One proposed resolution calling for the removal of the statue referred to Pike as chief founder of the post-Civil War Ku Klux Klan. Chief founder of the post-Civil War, after the Civil War, Ku Klux Klan. The Klan connection is a frequent accusation from Pike's critics and one which the Masons dispute. It may not be hard to believe that he was the chief founder. I'm not sure if that's a fact, but it's not hard to believe. Give me a second. We're going to explain. In an executive order this March on restoring truth and sanity to the American history. In an executive order this March on restoring truth and sanity to the American history, Trump said the Secretary of the Interior would determine whether statutes have been removed since 2020 to perpetuate a false reconstruction of American history, inappropriately minimize the value of certain historical events or figures, or include any other improper partisan ideology. Trump ordered that the statues be reinstated. Now, we got to read this carefully, this last paragraph. All right. So this is an executive order under the Trump administration in March, restoring truth and sanity to American history. Now, I believe that if I'm reading this right, it does not say that Trump wanted this statue to go up indefinitely, but that he's combing through it. But I want to make sure I'm right on that. It says Trump said the Secretary of the Interior would determine whether statutes have been removed since 2020. Okay, so he's determining which statues have been removed since the year 2020 that perpetuate a false reconstruction of American history, inappropriately minimize the value of certain historical events or figures, or include any other improper partisan ideology. So we're going to look up this word partisan, all right? A strong supporter of a party, cause, or person, a member of an armed group formed, okay? So, or include any improper, right, partisan. So pretty much all this is saying he's going through it to see if anything within history or any of these statues go against or minimize the true facts of history, and also uncover any improper representations of any individual in their ideologies, the way they think, what they value, etc. Trump ordered that the statues be reinstated. Okay, so Trump did order that the statues be reinstated, right? I mean, this article is saying that it's going back up, but why? Why would you put up a guy, a Confederate general? Why would you put it back up in the United States? Anywhere? Why would you do that? So, a general under the Confederacy. We have to rewind just a little bit. Why is this important, you would ask? So, when Abraham Lincoln declared the Emancipation Proclamation, he did it for one reason. It was not to free the slaves, even though there were a lot of women, a lot of fathers, a lot of mothers who kissed their babies, hugged their families to know that they would be released from the grip of slavery, at least for that moment. Wasn't so overt They would experience covert operations, of course, later when it came to slavery and shackles. But at least in that moment, they felt some sort of relief in that moment. See, perspective is a motherfucker. So when people talk about Lincoln, which I'm going to explain, sure, everything that happened under Lincoln is still a travesty. And the reason as to why he did it serves him to not be a altruistic human being, yet alone someone people should look up to. However, at least he was able to do it for those people. We can't rewrite history. We can't go back in time. It is what it is. But I digress. So the importance in this guy who was a Confederate general, right? So Abraham Lincoln was fighting against the Confederacy, the Southern states, to protect the quote unquote Union, whatever that Union may be. It be the Northern states or America as a whole, right? The Union, he used the Union is very abstract. To protect the Union, the Confederacy and the Union, they were headbutting. So Lincoln, he was head of the Union. They were going to fight the Confederacy, which were the Southern states. This was the Civil War. So they were fighting them because the Confederacy wanted to branch off, break off, be their own, do their own thing, have their own power, break off from the totality of the Union, the 50 states, whatever else. The North, they preached freedom amongst all men. At least that's what Lincoln said. At least that's how they were trying to dress it up. At least that was the dream that Lincoln was selling. He was selling a nation that pretty much pride themselves on patriotism, all for one for all. And that's what he was pushing. He was still being in control. See, the issue was he wanted to be the president of everything. But the the Confederacy, they wanted to monitor and do things the way they wanted to do it. The important thing to know is Albert Pike was a general of the Confederacy. The Southern states, they wanted slavery. They were pro-slavery. Okay? They were pro-slavery. They were pro-people, black people, being treated as cattle, as workers. This guy believed that black people were made to work. Like they were just mindless drones. So Albert Pike, Confederate general, Freemason, symbol of white supremacy. How can you put up another statue? How could you put up a statue of anyone who supported the Confederacy? The states, the people, the leaders who were pro-slavery. How could you put up anybody like that? How can you reinstate a statue that has that representation and symbol? So we understand why they was taking it down. We trying to figure out why you trying to put it back up. Here are the quick facts. The Confederate roots. Pike. Let's go right here. So Pike fought for the Confederacy to preserve slavery, led Native American troops, but was still staunchly pro-slavery. We understand that. Viewed black people as inferior people and destined for servitude. Believe they're less than, not smarter than you, all that stuff. We understand that that's a bunch of BS. That's the surface level. Here's the kicker. So the black people, they didn't necessarily want to fight they couldn't fight for the Confederacy. But what they could do was say, hey, you know what? This guy Lincoln, he said he's gonna do some good by us if we come fight for him. See, this is the story. Abraham Lincoln wanted to free the slaves so that they can fight in his army. His army will be stronger. Then they'd have enough people, enough manpower to take out the Confederacy. That's what that was all about. That's why Lincoln freed the slaves. It had nothing to do with him trying to be a better person. He didn't see the light. He wasn't an intelligent or enlightened individual. Okay, he did it. I'm glad that he did it so that at least the black people could go fight for something and not like work from sun up to sundown and risk all the other BS. But we all know how that ended. After the post-Civil War, they never got their retribution. They never got anything. And then that's when a lot of them had to go build up in Negro Fort. That's another story. Down in Florida, you know, Negro Fort, where they pulled themselves up by the bootstraps, got together, made a safe haven for Native Americans and also slaves who were coming from the South, coming up to try and build some sort of retribution and support. The U.S. government deemed that as a threatened territory and came and bombed it. Not without fail, about 2 or 3 times. So as you go down history, you start to see, oh, these people, these black people, these Native Americans who have been mistreated, marginalized, disenfranchised, underappreciated, manipulated, done terribly wrong. They did pull themselves up by their boots. They did create something out of it. They did create all these different things that served positively for their own betterment, but they was interrupted. To say it lightly, they were interrupted numerous times, bombed numerous times, killed numerous times. Not just in Negro Fort, not just in Wilmington, North Carolina, not just in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Let's stop the malarkey, man. Come on, man. Y'all miss me with the BS, bro. But I don't want to get too far in my bag. Let's keep going. Problematic legacy. Writings defended slavery and upheld white supremacy. Influential Freemason. His book, Morals and Dogma, is racially biased. See, they'll write a book like this, talking about morals and dogma and, you know, doctrine and all these prolific words. Like the, what's that? What are those letters that Alexander Hamilton wrote? He wrote that book. Slavery was still happening when they wrote the letters. I wish I could think of the book right now. I wish I could think of the book right now. Hold on. It's bothering me. Hold on. The Confederate Papers. No. The Federalist Papers. Excuse me. The Federalist Papers. So it was still slavery going on when they wrote that. They using all these profound ethical terms, all these words that mean so much. Bro, slavery was still happening. Talking about ownership, slavery was still happening. Talking about freedom, slavery was still happening. Talking about liberty, slavery was still happening. What the hell are y'all talking about, bro? That's that BS. That's that BS. That's that BS. There was nothing smart or intelligent about it. It was just fascism. That's all it was. You stole, you developed, you carried on, you stole and developed some more. There are plenty of actual smart people, plenty of actually intelligent people. But if you don't have the resources, there isn't too much that you can do. Bill Gates wasn't just that smart. He went to Lakeside High School. He had the technology and he had his homie riding by him. That's what happened. That's why he keep trying to create and kill off people bro, ain't nobody tell you to do all that, bro. Go on about your business, man. Ain't nobody tell you to do all that. See, I can't really get too rowdy. It's a weekday. I got to end the live, but you niggas kill me with this, man. For real. Let's end this out. It says, why the statue matters. Toppled by protesters in 2020 as a symbol of systemic racism. They not lying. Reinstalling it in 2025 feels like a step backward. You don't say. It's not just history. It's a statement. Yep. So we're going to get up out of here. I appreciate y'all for rocking with us, man. It's another episode of Bedtime Stories. I'm going to go and enjoy my night. I'm going to do some reading. The book that I'm reading right now. Oh, by the way, This came in. That came in, got all of the facts, receipts about real estate, about unjust contracts for housing. It's a tough world, you know. For me, I'm just astounded as, like, regarding the Matrix, the simulation, I know it's here. I thought it would be much more complex than this. What's simple is the mistreatment. What's simple as is the marginalization. What's simple is the disenfranchisement. What's simple is people being underrepresented, underpaid, underappreciated, redlining, zoning, all these different things. That's pretty simple to understand. The thing that I just can't figure out is why. I know how it happened from a standpoint of ignorance and constructed emotion and experiences. Sure. But how did it start off like this? What did black people do? That's what I'm trying. Is there an alternate universe, alternate timeline? Yeah. Let's get up out of here, man. As always, in the simulation, provide a demonstration to the higher power showing who you are. Only then do we soar across the pages of life. Until next time, levitate.